Okay, I'm going to describe a scenario to you, and I'm also going to paste it in the chat so that you can reference it later as you're completing the scenario. So for this scenario, Lauren, could you tell me a study topic or research topic that you're interested in?
So we're looking at higher intensity rehabilitation protocols in skilled nursing facilities, so for the medically complex patient population.
Okay, so let's say you're developing a proposal for this study and you want to get input on that topic, perhaps from that medically complex patient population. So your proposal is due in a couple of weeks. You're still planning it, and you want to engage stakeholders and get feedback from them on this study. You plan to only engage the stakeholders once or twice, and you have very limited time slots during your day to meet with them. You also only have a small budget available for the stakeholder engagement portion of the project. And I'm going to paste that into the chat so you can reference it later. And what I would like you to do is find an engagement strategy that would be appropriate for this scenario.
Okay. So Jess, if you have any thoughts, let me know.
Sure thing. I think I probably would start with at the top, sort of clicking the discover optimal strategies.
Okay. So I guess I can quickly just kind of give you my thoughts, I guess, being more central to the project, and I'm sure we can kind of make something that we, and so I guess the purpose in engaging the patients as stakeholders would get kind of their fears and initial impressions on hearing the word high intensity, but then also, you know, their experience with how rehabilitation was dosed with their recent stay in a skilled nursing facility, and anything that they liked or disliked, and kind of how they monitored their own progress. Like, so I guess that would be the purpose. Budget, I think we were just given number of interactions was 1 to 2, time per interaction. I mean, I guess from a patient standpoint, I'd want to respect their time. So maybe 30 minutes at the most. I don't know what your thoughts are.
We just did patient interviews for an evaluation. We tried to cap everything at 30.
Okay, perfect. So that sounds good. And then staffing and expertise. We, to be transparent, really don't have a ton. It's just me that took this course, and nobody else has taken that course. And then as far as any sort of qualitative methodology, I have zero experience, and nobody on our team does either. So interpreting and knowing how to interpret what they're saying and analyzing it would be difficult. So I don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah, so 2, maybe one staff.
One staff, yeah, that is, I'd say half. Halfway comfortable. Okay, are you good with start?
Yep.
Okay. So it sounds like right now, for developing the proposal, we'd be doing it for planning.
Yeah.
And then why? Oh, we just went through that. I think here, what do they believe is success in staying at a rehabilitation facility and discharging home? Like, what do they need to achieve to do so?
Out of curiosity, are we able to select more than one option just for the future?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I think We've already, I mean, again, we already kind of have our question for this particular project. It would be nice to go back and see what else, you know, is relevant to them. But I think for this specific project, we already have a question in mind. But gaining their understanding surrounding rehabilitation in their setting would be nice as well. But I don't know if 3 is overkill out of 4. No.
We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Okay.
helping test it.
So
Ooh, sliders.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. There we go. Budget would be low. Time, we said
An hour or less.
And number of interactions, we said 1 to 2. So it looks like I'm just talking out loud. It looks like size is what is the level of feasibility based on what we've collected. I don't know if the colors categorize these techniques into any. Sorry, I should have gotten rid of that. But I can hover, it looks like. Are you okay if I click more?
Yeah, I've never heard of this strategy before.
I've heard of crowdfunding, not crowdsourcing. Am I going too fast?
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, so unidirectional makes sense.
Yeah, here's another place it seems like the darker is highlighting something.
Yeah, what it represents.
Yeah.
I guess darker green is more what this represents, and then the lighter highlights would be maybe to the lesser extent, and then white would be.
It looked like above the colors were just to create lines.
Yeah, I think for separate, I agree with that.
So might be the case here as well.
It's nice that they give resources broken down like a recipe.
Yeah. It is like reading a recipe.
Yeah, and this sounds very interactive, engaging, and fun.
Yeah.
Wondering for our patient population, especially given the circumstances now, patients that are medically complex are probably not all going to be in one space at one time. So I'd say I wouldn't be able to use this, but I don't know if you want to keep reading.
No, we're good.
Good. Okay. And then it looks like I could just.
Well, it's at the very bottom of the page. Let me scroll down all the way.
So it looks like there. Do you want me to click on the YouTube video?
Sure. Let's
just to see. Okay. Obviously, I listen to jazz in the morning. Okay, so just kind of walks through
visually what it would look like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Right, we can go back.
Okay. And then it just looks like other
references.
and yeah. Okay, so I would say unfortunately no on that. And then I'm just gonna go to the next large blue one, I guess. Well, let's just see. Blue to be more like group. Greens, well, no, then that, I was gonna say green, because I read these two, seem to be more individual.
Yeah.
But I get, it would be nice to have like a color key, or like a key for the color scheme, if that was even important, other than just to make them
Look
distinct.
different.
Yeah. Is there anything you want me to click on next?
Maybe this eco cycle planning.
Yeah. Okay.
Is another one. I'm like, I don't know what that
Never heard of it. Okay. Are you okay if I click?
Yep. So I've noticed that these kind of highlight when you hover over them. If you go up a little bit, it doesn't look like you click on them.
Click, no.
Just okay.
Yeah. And time frame, this seems a little long based on what we selected, but, and then these we can't click either. Okay.
Oh, now I realized, like, the key characteristics, they give the range 3 different, and then those highlight which of the 3 different.
Where it kind of falls.
Where it falls.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess since it is a range, having like some sort of like arrow maybe to distinguish that it is like a continuum versus like separate blocks. But okay, so we'll see.
You're both doing a great job at thinking aloud, so thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
If we're moving too slow too, let me know. I probably don't have to read every word on the page.
Yeah,
yeah, really the goal of this first exercise was to get you to that page where you had some options and for you to go in and explore a couple of them like this. So I might move us on here in just a minute, but go ahead and keep looking at these.
Well, I guess we both kind of want to see what this is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with the implementation project I'm doing, we're in the process of creating an implementation guide while we're still implementing and expanding in our pilot site. And we've been starting to think about, like, what does sustainability look like?
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like this might actually be a method that we could do with, like, the current providers in the program to see what they think.
That's great.
Yeah.
This might be, and maybe it's just because I'm reading it quickly, at least for my project, more cognitively difficult because there are patients with like dementia that we're working with and the like. So, I mean, obviously we could get their care partners to collaborate, but.
And I do like the sources at the bottom, you know, thinking about writing those academic papers afterwards, making sure we have different citations that talk through.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, do you want to go back to the main?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So
Do we have
what
time
was
to click?
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to see, if we have time to click on one more, or should we move on?
Let's see, we've got, what, about, I think, 12 minutes? You probably have time
okay.
to click on one more real quickly, and then we'll move on to the next couple tasks, because they're a little bit shorter tasks than this first
Okay.
one was. So.
I guess it'd be interesting if we picked on one that like wasn't the big blue, just to see sort of the difference. Maybe the boot camp translation, because that seems like what's not appropriate.
Yeah, black. Don't use it for this particular. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can already see budget high.
Yeah.
Takes a full day, 10 plus interactions.
I'm just trying to think of other domains that would be
Helpful
to understand. I wonder, like, level of expertise.
I think that was lower down.
Oh, it was. Okay.
In the, not in the time frame, but in the one where it was the continuum.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
That we had talked about.
Purpose. I wonder too, my other thought with the purpose is, it seems like they're very repetitive, which makes sense, you know, but I'm just wondering, are these ranked at all? Or are they just a list?
Yeah.
So is it, you know, is the main purpose to identify and explore, and then maybe a peripheral purpose is design strategies? Like, are they all equally weighted? So that would be interesting maybe to get some insight on.
Yeah, they are all equally weighted, but that's a really good observation that it looks like they might be ranked somehow. So
right.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring. Quite loud.
What kind of dog?
She's a beagle, and she's only 25 pounds, but she sounds like a grown human. So appropriate applications. So that this is more of a ranking, like more useful, less useful.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. And then you were saying here, how much training experience? Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so the colored bars are definitely nice for showing like different lines in a way that maybe bullet points wouldn't as easily. Mm-hmm. But I definitely, my brain is also used to seeing colors as having different colors being different weights or
right. Yeah.
So again, that ranking, or you know, my brain is trying to process like, is this a significant thing?
Right.
That's a great observation as well.
Which I think was on the page that got us here, where we were trying to figure out what the colors and size meant, was another like.
Yeah, I thought so too. My brain was trying to categorize, but didn't know how or what the scheme was.
Yeah, I thought we would probably get some feedback like that on the colors. They just change with the size, but it makes you wonder if they mean something different. So.
Right.
Something we'll have to work on.
So here's kind of a consideration pitfall. I don't think we saw that in the other examples.
So it might not be relevant for each. So it does seem like there's a little difference in.
Right. Do you want to see anything else, like from a clickability standpoint? Do you want me to click on request just to see what the field looks like?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
we did not build that out yet. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay.
So
I just didn't know what information they
anyway.
were requiring, like how much information they needed from us.
Yeah, that we'll get that built in there, but it will be a form that you can fill out that basically tells us what your project is,
Perfect.
some of these constraints that we ask about in this tool, and then if you're looking at this tool like I still don't know what I should do, our team would be able to help you.
Okay.
That's the intent of that.
Gotcha. And is this website, is it just turned on right now during this pilot, or will it be, is it still available in this like beta mode going forward?
So it should be available in this beta mode at least for a little bit. They'll be giving us an official URL assigned to it here pretty shortly, and we'll be taking this back to the developers and letting them know some of the things that we found during this user testing session and having them make those updates. But we should have an actual URL within the next few weeks, and we can certainly send that out to everyone.
That would be great.
And
I really am thinking about like, can I put this in this guide as a link to direct people?
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic.
That's awesome. That makes me very excited.
Yeah, because right now the portion, I come from a community organizing kind of policy background, so it's a very narrow interpretation of like stakeholder analysis and, just do key informant interviews, engagement, and the VA has got a range of ability for providers to engage, so knowing the different options would be, I think, useful to the people who will be using our guide.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, letting people know that stakeholder engagement isn't just focus groups and interviews, I think is a major step in and of itself.
Right.
Great. So I'll have you move on to the second task now if you're ready.
Mm-hmm. So if I go to relaunch tool, will that take me, back to, okay.
Just resets.
Yeah.
Yep, that'll reset the tool itself. Okay, so for your next task, I want you to select a strategy from the left-hand menu on the home page and then determine what personnel are needed to conduct that strategy.
Okay.
And so you can select any strategy you'd like, one that you're interested in learning a little more about.
One of the questions I have about the homepage, going back to the homepage, if you hit the stakeholder engagement navigator at the top, does that also direct you to the homepage? I know there's kind of
it seems like that. Yeah, I just clicked it and it, yeah.
Just trying to think about all the different websites that what people might be used to clicking on.
Right, that's true. I just saw the little home at the...
Same, that's what I would have clicked on.
Yeah. Okay, so expanding these, can we expand them all at once? No. So is there a method that you would want to?
Yes. So those are the method, maybe look at, because we went through some of the methods, look at approaches and see CBPR or
we can click on
the VRCAs.
So it was a question, I'm sorry, we need to figure out how many.
Yeah, I just want you to be able to see if you can tell me what personnel you need to conduct this approach.
Okay. So this looks, the fact sheet is set up a little differently, but.
I like in this, so one of the things with the solid bar was just seeing where the different information was and having under the appropriate applications it being more boxes to show that they're different.
Like different pieces of information?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Just requires a little less cognitive interpretation on my part. I can be lazier.
And so this is less of a kind of linear continuum and more just highlighting the most salient piece of information. But it isn't, unless this is just different, there isn't a 3-tiered, it's just kind of a dichotomous, like green or gray. There's no dark green, light green, white. Is that?
And I think it might be different because we picked approach
An
instead
approach.
of method.
Yeah.
So personnel, the research team, facilitator, experts in different areas, and then persons with, so very specifically, there's experts in different areas. I guess my question is that experts in the content you're looking at, then, you know, we get a little bit more detail that at least persons with interview, survey, search capacity, and analysis expertise. So we get like a little bit more detail, but my question is definitely like, okay, experts in what different areas?
Yeah, I would agree. Is that the approach, the methodology, the content, like what they mean by that, or if this is a further description of that, and if it is, then indent or somehow depict that.
Yeah.
A detailed description of the expertise that's required.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all very helpful feedback. We just have a couple minutes left here, so we'll try to do our last task if we have time. And for that, I want you to navigate to the web page that describes the difference between an approach, method, and tool.
Oh, see, I was going to ask that question, so I'm so glad that you. I would say maybe learn about stakeholder engagement.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well. So, basics.
Here we go.
Deeper dive.
Deeper dive. So it is more like chronological. So you select the approach or the role that the stakeholder will play, and then the method by which they can, I guess, carry out that role. And then, so the tools are more to how you're gathering information. So what would be examples of tools?
No. Yeah, so it looks like there's some overlap in method and tools.
In method and tools, yeah. Because we kind of clicked on crowd sourcing, but I don't see it.
Yeah, so there are some that seem to be both.
It is 10 o'clock, so we do need to wrap up.
Sure. I guess the one other thing that I would say with this, with having very little experience, is if you selected a community engaged research approach, does that best correspond with a specific method or a tool, or are they all like mutually
exclusive?
So I don't know if that would be like a color coding scheme or some sort of like tiered like approach, method, tool, and then you can see where that overlap is. Because right now I would be kind of paralyzed by everything that's here.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of information there, and we had long discussions about how to separate these things into approaches versus methods versus tools. And so hearing your reaction to, you know, when you first get to this page, how it's a little overwhelming is good for us to hear, and how we might think about making it a little bit more accessible and
yeah, I just think more thought organized.
Streamline it a little more. Yeah.
Well, I have to run to a work meeting, but I'm super excited about this tool. So.
Thank you, Jess. And I'll be sure you can still access this wireframe that they have up for us for at least a few days. And then once we have an actual website up and running, I'll be starting to send it to both of you. So thank you both very much for your feedback.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good rest
Really
of your
helpful.
day.
Nice to
You
meet you.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Close out Zoom completely.
Oh, okay.
So if you record your second session also, then you'll have 2 downloads.
Okay. After we're out of completely out.
Yep, after we're out.
So thanks, Jordan.
Okay.
So this was it.
Oh, I completely just removed her while she was speaking. I apologize.
Jordan, is it okay if I continue my recording?
Yeah, it'll show up as one long recording opposed to 2 separate ones.